It's hard to believe it's been almost 6 years since the final episode of Game of Thrones aired. In my last video where I ranked all of Sansa Stark's costumes across 8 seasons, I mentioned I would create a dedicated video on the jewelry, and here it is. If you haven't seen Sansa's costume ranking video, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment below. Although series costume designer Michelle Clapton wasn't overly heavy-handed with jewelry in the show, I've identified more than 50 pieces to feature in this video. I also have a separate list of additional items, so if you'd like to see more content like this, let me know in the comments and I'll consider doing a follow-up. This video focuses on jewelry worn by principal characters with some pieces grouped together. I haven't ranked the pieces, but I've put them in the order that makes the most sense to the flow of the video. Some of the jewelry pieces went up for auction last fall, so I'll include images and details from the sales where relevant. And to make navigation easier, I've added chapters so you can skip ahead as needed. Whenever possible, I've included the names of the craftspeople and makers behind these pieces. And while I don't have any affiliate links, I'll leave details in the description if the items are still available. A quick note, there will be spoilers for all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, but I'm assuming most of you have already watched the show. And finally, a big shout out to my patrons. Thank you for your support. And if you'd like to join our community and help me continue creating unique content, we'd love to have you. Now, with all that said, let's dive into the jewelry. Crowns, tiaras, and headdresses. Cersei tiara. Cersei wears the stag tiara with an emerald at the Winterfell feast in Season 1. Throughout the season, she is often seen wearing it, sometimes with a red stone, during official appearances, including the tourney celebrating the new hand of the king, Ned Stark, and shortly thereafter for his execution. King Joffrey's golden crown. King Joffrey often wears his ill-fitting golden crown when he is on the Iron Throne and during official duties, such as giving Sansa away at the wedding to Tyrion Lannister. Steenson's Jewelers, based in Belfast, Northern Ireland, created many of the crowns and jewelry pieces for Game of Thrones, including Joffrey's iconic golden crown. According to their website, the crown was crafted in sections, each painstakingly hand-cut from 5mm sheet brass. The cut antlers were filed by hand to smooth out the hard edges, bent and shaped to create a 3-dimensional appearance, then textured with a burr tool similar to a dental drill. The headband was made from brass strip, shaped and textured in the same way as the antlers. Finally, the crown was adorned with amber gemstones to catch the light. In later seasons, Joffrey's younger brother Tommen wears the same crown, or one very similar to it. Robert Baratheon crown. King Robert wears his gold stag crown for formal occasions, with the design fashioned after his family sigil of a crown black stag on a golden field. Like Joffrey's, the crown is embellished with amber gemstones. Joffrey's purple wedding crown. Joffrey wears the crown during the 4th season episode, The Lion and the Rose, during his marriage to Margaery Tyrell. Here's a side-by-side comparison of Michelle Clapton's sketch for Joffrey's wedding crown with the final version shown on the right. Clapton explained the symbolism. Joffrey's crown has antlers, but roses are creeping within it, representing how the Tyrells hope to control him. She added, Margaery is all creeping roses, symbolizing how she's slowly gaining influence over him. Like his golden crown, Steenson's explained that the antlers were hand-cut from 5mm sheet brass, shaped and textured, while silver buds, cast from real rosebuds, were intertwined with the brass. Due to its weight, the crown, which features Baratheon antlers and roses, was lined with velvet. Fortunately, actor Jack Gleeson didn't have to wear it for long. Ellaria chain headdress. Ellaria Sand wears a Cleopatra-inspired headpiece in the episode The Lion and the Rose, which Clapton describes as a really lovely sort of chained headpiece that was a great new look in an era of well-established designs. Clapton explained that Ellaria's attire for the wedding was meant to be both elegant and striking, showcasing her status and confidence amidst the royal court's opulence. The headpiece was recently sold by Heritage Auctions for $1,875 on October 10, 2024. Margaery Purple Wedding Tiara. This tiara, worn by Margaery for her wedding to King Joffrey, symbolizes her gradual control over him, with its design inspired by creeping roses. Clapton explained that Margaery's attire reflects her growing influence over Joffrey. The roses, crafted by Steensons from copper clay, were shaped by hand with each petal carefully pressed and layered. Clapton chose to add a thin silver plate to the tiara to soften the colors and tie it to the tone of Marjorie's wedding dress. Marjorie's gold tiara. For her marriage to Tommen, Marjorie wears a slight variation of the crown, designed to complement the hue of her golden gown with brass embellishments. Clapton noted this is actually the same crown Marjorie wore at Joffrey's wedding. It seemed fitting that it should be the same. Marjorie is seen sporting her tiara again in Season 6. Mad King Aerys II Targaryen crown. We only catch a glimpse of Aerys' costume in a flashback in the Season 6 episode Blood of My Blood. Aerys' crown is different from the books, described by George R.R. Martin as a large and heavy crown of red gold, each of its points a dragon's head with gemstone eyes. Now, the one depicted in the show is closer to the gold stag antler crown worn by King Robert Baratheon, who succeeded Aerys II. The crown is described by Heritage Auctions as a brass-tone metal crown with flame design, engraved dragon scales, and black velvet lining. The Mad King's crown sold with its complete ensemble on October 11, 2024 for a whopping $30,000. Queen Cersei's silver crown. In the Season 6 finale, Cersei takes the throne as Maester Qyburn crowns her as ruler of the Seven Kingdoms. She continues to wear the crown into Season 8. In an interview with Vulture, Michelle Clapton explained that Cersei's silver crown was designed to reflect her growing isolation and detachment from her family. Subtle traces of gold were included to hint at this separation, while any connection to House Baratheon was deliberately omitted, as she no longer needed to assert that link. At the center, an abstracted lion sigil symbolizes her house, with its mane evoking the Iron Throne and her relentless pursuit of power. The crown represents her transformation. She has claimed her throne and forged a new identity. According to their website, this was the first GOT crown by Steensons to be constructed completely using CAD. The crown was milled from wax into 8 separate parts and cast using lost wax casting technique. Finally, it was hand-assembled and pieced together. Sansa's coronation crown. Sansa's direwolf silver crown looks closer to the style of Cersei's, which makes sense as it was also created by Steensons. They told me shortly after the episode aired that this piece is sterling silver, which has been oxidized. The process started by receiving a design brief from Michelle Clapton. We then would create the design on CAD software. Once approved, we would 3D print the design in wax and cast it using lost wax casting technique. It was cast in multiple sections and then hand-assembled. The sections would be soldered and laser welded. Finally, a polish and then oxidized to create the final look. Necklaces, chokers, and pendants. Lannister Gold Lion Pendants. The Golden Lion Pendant is a recurring accessory in Game of Thrones worn by several characters tied to House Lannister. Cersei is most often seen with her lion necklace throughout all 6 seasons, a piece she's worn since childhood as shown in her flashback scenes. Its origin is unclear, but it could have been a gift from Tywin or her mother. Joffrey gives Sansa a smaller version of the pendant in Season 1 before their relationship sours. Other versions of the Golden Lion pendant are worn by Marcella Baratheon and Roz, possibly given to her as a gift by Tyrion. The jewelry was crafted by Steensons using CAD, cast in sterling silver, gold-plated and aged, with duplicates likely made for production. Cersei later wears a large version of the pendant in the final season, with her black and red gowns worn on a long chain. Cersei Bauble Necklace. Cersei's golden triple bauble necklace is embossed with the House Lannister sigil of the Golden Lion. Worn during formal occasions, such as the Purple Wedding and her father Tywin's funeral, Clapton said that Cersei's statement necklace of 3 lion sigils is meant to be symbolic of her 3 children, all of whom she is destined to lose. Cersei Embossed Lion Collar. Cersei often wears this gold-toned, rigid collar with an embossed lion, either with her armor or as a statement piece on its own. She notably wore the choker at Sansa's wedding to Tyrion. Dany and Missandei's slave choker. Dany and Missandei both wear slave chokers as part of their gowns, or in Dany's case, worn as a standalone piece. Clapton explained that Dany wears the necklace that is based on the slave costume. She is becoming the leader of an army and she needs to look strong. The choker worn by Miss Sanday is a direct match to Danny's, and as Clapton has pointed out, it symbolizes a dedication to the long-suffering slaves. Danny's dragon claw pendants. Now, Danny wears two versions of the dragon claw pendant, one a solo claw worn on a chain, and the other two claws counterbalanced on a chain. These pieces were worn during Danny's rule in Marine. Danny's silver neck piece. Danny's simple white gown features a sweetheart neckline with a fabric cross strap. The most spectacular aspect, of course, is Danny's silver three-headed dragon neck piece offset against the stark white gown. Danny's silver neck piece number 2. Danny wears this charcoal gray Grecian-style gown and silver jewelry neck piece when she greets Yara and Theon in the throne room. Here is a reproduction of the neck piece, Clapton collaborating with London-based jewelry makers Eunice and Eliza. During the show, Clapton launched a series of high-end jewelry pieces inspired by Game of Thrones, including this one, through the MEY Game of Thrones jewelry collection. I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. Danny's dragon and double-winged choker. Danny's wrap dragon neck piece, created in collaboration with Clapton and Eunice and Eliza, is a stunning piece of jewelry. The neck sculpture was hand-carved from wax and cast in sterling silver, with a pivot point at the back of the neck. A rubber version of the dragon and double-winged choker appeared in the Season 5 episode The Dance of Dragons and was sold by Heritage Auctions along with the dress on October 11, 2024. Sansa dragonfly and butterfly necklaces. In the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones, along with her gold Lannister pendant, a youthful and innocent Sansa alternates between two necklaces, a delicate dragonfly pendant on a twisted chain, and a heavier necklace made up of 3 butterfly segments linked together. Now, I don't know the source, but I think it's possible they were off the rack. Sansa purple wedding necklace. In the Season 4 episode The Lion and the Rose, Olenna Tyrell removes the poison vial from Sansa's necklace, which was given to her by Ser Dantos. When designing the necklace, Clapton said she drew inspiration from Art Deco and Art Nouveau styles, with a vintage Art Deco necklace from 1915 to 1935 appearing to closely influence its design. Sansa's necklace on the show was crafted by Steensons using sterling silver and rose gold plating. Clapton noted, "We 3D printed the beads, which is the most exciting thing of the season." Prop master Gordon Fitzgerald said, "Creating the necklace involved carefully planning to ensure it could believably conceal the poison crystal." The original poison necklace was sold by Heritage Auctions on October 10, 2024 for $16,250. Dark Sansa necklace. In Season 4, under the alias of Elaine, we are introduced to Dark Sansa. Clapton explained that Dark Sansa's necklace symbolizes her connection to Arya's needle, with the spike at the end representing a smaller version of it. She described it as a jewelry idea of needle, signifying Sansa's readiness to take on her own strength. In an interview with British Vogue, Clapton said, "There's something about this piece of jewelry that feels so powerful," noting that the original disc is made from black stone sourced from New Zealand, which she found particularly meaningful for its earth connection and substantial feel. Sansa's silver circle and needle pendant. This neck jewelry worn with her costumes in Season 7 and 8 incorporated elements from her Dark Sansa look. Clapton chose circles for their symbolic meaning, stating, "Circles represent harmony, protection, unity, and commitment, and are often associated with women's strength and community." She explained that Sansa's jewelry in later seasons reflects strength, with the chain representing her sense of imprisonment and the needle symbolizing her growing connection to Arya's strength, which she previously didn't fully understand. Marjorie's rose pendant. Marjorie's rose pendant worn in the Season 2 episode Vala Mergulhas is made from repurposed vintage Portuguese filigree brooches by Topazio, suspended on a chain. Marjorie's purple wedding necklace. Marjorie wore this Art Deco-inspired necklace for her wedding to Joffrey in the Season 4 episode The Lion and the Rose. Marjorie's wedding necklace is almost a direct copy of this Merle Bennett & Co. Art Nouveau necklace from about 1900. Like Sansa, Marjorie's necklace was handcrafted by Steensons and created using CAD software, cast in sterling silver and rose gold plated. It is hand set with oval and round moonstones, blue topaz, and 3 cubic zirconia. Marjorie flower pendant necklace. Marjorie wore this necklace following her marriage to Tommen Baratheon. According to Heritage Auctions, this is the original brass tone metal cable chain necklace with 3 dangling filigree flower pendants with a round bud center. The pendants are connected by 4 segments of roses, each on a vine. The auction house said it was worn by Marjorie in Season 5, Episode 3, High Sparrow, on the morning after her wedding day when she patronizes her mother-in-law Cersei Lannister by asking if she should call her Queen Mother or Dowager Queen. Things didn't go so well for Marjorie after that. This item was sold on October 11th, 2024 for $9,375. Melisandre and the Red Priestess Chokers. Melisandre, introduced in Season 2 of Game of Thrones and the North remembers, is immediately recognizable by her choker of interconnected elongated hexagons with a central ruby, believed to be the source of her youth and longevity. In the lore, rubies and other precious stones from Ashai, while abundant, are thought to be contaminated. Clapton intentionally designed the hexagonal choker to make Melisandre stand out as a strong and otherworldly character. Originally, the piece was meant to glimmer and flash, but that idea was abandoned. The choker's magic is showcased in the Season 6 premiere, The Red Woman, when Melisandre removes it to reveal her true age, estimated to be between 300 to 400 years. This transformation reflects the Red Priest's and Priestess's abilities to use glamour with the glowing ruby, likely integral to their magic. Other Red Priestesses share similar design elements in their costumes, emphasizing their connection to R'hllor. In one scene, 2 priestesses wear chokers, one with a choker almost identical to Melisandre's, and another with a hexagonal slave collar, reflecting her origins as a slave in Ashai. Kinvara, another high-ranking priestess, also wears a choker reminiscent of Melisandre's, highlighting their shared faith and power. Kinvara is believed to have a direct link to R'hllor and is considered even older and more powerful than Melisandre. Melisandre Ceremonial Necklace. First worn by Melisandre in Season 2, episode The North Remembers, this elaborated choker is constructed with hexagonal metal segments and a flaming heart Lord of Light sigils on each shoulder plate. At the center of the chest is a red ruby made of plastic with a small charm featuring a cutout heart suspended by tie closures at the back of the neck. Heritage Auction describes this collar chain of warder-type armor as a bold statement worn during Melisandre's dramatic introduction when she burns statues of the Seven in a ceremony for R'hllor, the Lord of Light. It was sold by the auction house on October 10, 2024 for $7,500. Allaria's Sand Poison Antidote Vial Necklace. Allaria's necklace, worn in the Season 5 finale Mother's Mercy, is a gold-toned necklace featuring a cable chain with twisted metal segments, a half-circle groove pendant, and a small blue vial topped with a silver-toned snake head. After Allaria kills Marcella Baratheon with poison lace lips, she uses the vial's antidote. Made by Steenson's, the necklace sold for $7,812.50 on October 11, 2024 by Heritage Auctions. It appears that the vial was stained blue by production after it was created by Steenson's. If you are enjoying this content, please give the video a like so I will know to make more content like this in the future. Thank you. Now on to our next category. Rings. Cersei Gemfire Ring. This summer flame ring from Hespera Jewellery Company gained fame when worn by Cersei Lannister in the Game of Thrones Season 6 finale, although it may have appeared as early as Season 1. According to Hespera, the ring is crafted from southern star citrines, amber-colored gems from Patagonia. The ring features a body striped with white and ivory, culminating in a striking display of gold gems. The makers describe each ring as unique, inspired by the warm gold and amber hues of a summer sunset, an ideal accessory for the formidable Lannister queen. Dany's iron and gold ring. Daenerys has worn her mother, Queen Rhaella Targaryen's ring on her index finger from her first appearance through every costume change. Emilia Clarke confirmed, "This ring is fundamentally the only thing that Dany's had from day one, Season 1. It's her mother's ring." The iron and gold ring was crafted by London-based sculptor and jewelry maker Gloria Carlos, designed in sterling silver with oxidized vert foncé and 18-karat gold. Dany's silver and pearl ring. Dany's pearl ring makes its first appearance in Season 5, and its significance becomes clear by the end of the season. In the final episode, Mother's Mercy, Dany drops the ring in the grass while surrounded by the Dothraki blood riders, hoping to leave a trail. Later, she wears the ring as a pendant around her neck. Sansa's silver butterfly ring. One of Sansa's signature pieces from Season 1, the Hawk Moth and Poppy Seed Head oversized ring by Lucy Jade Sylvester, is handmade in Oxfordshire and crafted in solid silver. The hawk moth, cast from a naturally deceased specimen, showcases intricate details including visible legs and features an 8-centimeter wingspan with a polished finish. The 1-centimeter diameter poppy seed head is darkened to highlight its natural details. The design allows the poppy seed head to rest on one side of the finger while the moth spans across the hand with an open shank for adjustable sizing. Marjorie's rose ring. Marjorie wore this ring across multiple seasons and in promotions with Entertainment Weekly. This inexpensive costume jewelry ring is from online seller Dodally. The ring is described as a classic rose-shaped floral vines wraparound ring in brass and is still available for purchase. Joffrey's signet ring. Joffrey sported a few rings until his demise in Season 4, but one of the most notable is this gold signet ring set with a ruby gemstone. Tyrion Lannister's rings. Tyrion Lannister is known for wearing 2 distinctive rings. On his left ring finger, he sports a silver or golden line ring, symbolizing his house. Tyrion also wears a ruby red signet ring in a gold setting, a piece he's had since Season 1. Both rings are notably absent after his imprisonment, never to be seen again. Brooches and Pins. Dany and Viserys' dragon brooches. Daenerys wears a Celtic-style brooch shaped like a 3-headed dragon on both her viewing gown and wedding gown. These brooches feature a ring with a small break in the circumference and are associated with early British medieval times, though they also appear in North African formal dress. The brooches on Daenerys' gowns are likely stitched on. A similar brooch can be seen in the painting An Eastern Beauty by Leon Comer. The ones worn by her and her brother Viserys were custom made by Steensons. They designed and created 3 dragon brooches for the show, 2 for Daenerys and 1 for Viserys. Their process involved using CAD to create the dragon heads and silver circles, which were 3D milled in wax. The finer details on the heads were hand-carved before casting in silver, while the swords were shaped from steel. Hand of the King and Queen brooches. In Game of Thrones, the placement of the Hand of the King or Queen brooch varies and seems to reflect the character's feelings about their role. Ned Stark wore his gold pin on the left side over his heart, symbolizing his honor and personal connection to duty. Tyrion Lannister, while serving Joffrey, wore his pin on the right side, suggesting a sense of obligation rather than loyalty or love for the king. Tywin Lannister and Qyburn also wore their pins on the right. However, in Season 6, The Winds of Winter, Daenerys gives Tyrion a silver Hand of the Queen pin, which he wears on the left, showing his heartfelt loyalty to her until he throws the pin on the ground in the series finale, The Iron Throne. He dons the pin one last time as Hand to King Bran the Broken. Tyrell Rose Embellishments. The Tyrell Rose embellishments, including Marjorie's detachable rose and vine piece, feature white thorns on the vine and are attached with blue ribbons. Loras also wears a rose brooch on his jacket, while Olenna, like Marjorie and Loras, has a bronze casting of their family sigil, the Tyrell Rose. All of these pieces were custom made by Steensons, with the process described on their website. Each individual petal was rolled and shaped by hand using copper clay. The vinework was formed from brass wire, and a mold was taken from real rosebuds to cast the beautiful silver bud details. Peter Baelish's Mockingbird Pin. Peter Baelish's personal sigil of a black mockingbird on a yellow background became the primary heraldry for his house. Throughout all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, Littlefinger frequently adorned his costumes with a subtle silver mockingbird pin, often placed at the collar of his cassocks or used to fasten a sash at his shoulder. Joffrey's Stag Brooch. Joffrey's brass stag brooch was prominently worn at his collar in the Season 1 episode Baelor, when Joffrey asks for Ned's head. Missandei and Grey Worm brooches. Grey Worm and Missandei were nearly identical brooches of a 3-headed dragon in the final seasons of Game of Thrones. Likely gifts from Dani. I suspect these were custom made by Steensons or another maker. Dani's silver hairpin. In the Season 7 episode Dragonstone, Daenerys subtly incorporated a silver dragon hairpin into her braided updo, a detail so understated that it likely went unnoticed by much of the audience. Armlets and bracelets. Dani wedding armbands. In the Game of Thrones premiere episode, Dani wears 2 silver beaded armbands as part of her wedding attire for Khal Drogo. They remind me of the 1905 painting Lamia by John William Waterhouse. Dani's bracelet. Jewelry designer Gloria Carlos created Dani's forked tongue bangle, worn in Season 3 with her blue dress. The bracelet matches Dani's iron and gold ring, also made by Gloria Carlos. A Laria Sandsnake wrist ornament. Now, I didn't notice this very cool twisted wrist decoration worn by the mother of sand snakes until making this video, but it proves that there were so many hidden gems in the show. Livery and chains of office. Lord Arryn chain of office. Unless you were paying close attention to the series premiere Winter is Coming, you probably missed this piece of jewelry. This chain of office was crafted by Steensons for Lord Arryn as his body lay in state in the throne room. According to their website, it's a half-meter long bronze chain of interlocking hands weighing over 200 grams of solid brass, constructed using a combination of CAD, hand carving, casting, and riveting. Tyrion chain of office. A nice detail on Tyrion's armor is the chain of hands meant to represent Tyrion's chain of office as Hand of the King. I can't verify if Steensons also created Tyrion's chain. Cersei's silver livery. Cersei's livery stands out as a symbol of authority, enhancing a masculine silhouette similar to Tywin's long structured leather doublets. Its design reinforces her efforts to assert dominance and solidify her status. The livery's 2 long chains resemble a ceremonial chain of office, similar to historical pieces like the Coleridge collar, which is a 16th century chain given by King Henry VIII, or the ceremonial collar of the Order of the Golden Fleece. Dani chain of intent. Dani wore a silver chain with a 3-dragon head detail beginning in Season 6, with a more tarnished version of the chain featured in the later episodes of Season 8. According to Clapton, Daenerys' chain of intent was meant to be a stand-in for Dani's crown. She told Insider, "You can have the chain, but until you get the throne, you're not queen. I like that she's wearing everything she can to show her status, but she can't wear the crown because it'd be wearing it before it was due." Clapton explained that the chain was designed to feel more militaristic than ornamental, emphasizing her status and intent. Created by jewelry artists Eunice and Eliza, like some of her other pieces of jewelry, each link was meticulously hand-carved to resemble a fragmented dragon's spine. According to Heritage Auctions, who sold several of Dani's chains along with their costume counterpart, the chains were created with exquisite attention to detail by artisans in India, embodying both her power and her Targaryen heritage. If you're still with me, thank you so much for sticking around. Let me know in the comments which jewelry pieces were your favorite throughout the series, or did I miss one? If so, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do to make a follow-up video. With House of the Dragon likely on hold until 2026, we're facing a bit of a Westeros drought. But don't worry, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms premieres on June 15, 2025, and I'll be covering it in full, along with more House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones content to keep the excitement going. A huge shout out to my patrons for making this video possible, and thank you for spending time with me. I'll see you in the next video.